Let's learn how to make comics. This lesson is packed with penciling techniques, comic making materials, and how you can draw fast. If you want the full course, Proko.com/Marvel has you covered, teaching you every step in the process from penciling, inking, coloring, and more. Enjoy.
I'm Ryan Benjamin. I've been a comic book artist for 28 plus years. I started to work with Marvel back in '96 when the Iron Man Heroes Reborn crossover happened. It was a crossover between Image Comics and Marvel. And we were working on Iron Man. It was both Wilson and I, Wilson Portacio and I, we were drawing Iron Man back in the day. And that was my first taste of it. And then eventually when I left Image, Marvel sent me a message. This was pre-email days. So I don't remember how the message got to me, but I remember the message coming to me and they wanted me to work on Cable. And eventually I did Uncanny X-Men, Iron Man, Black Panther, Captain America, even Logan. So if you're just getting into this and you're trying to learn how to draw comics or just draw in general, stick with a sketch pad and a pencil. I've seen people using pens and they're trying to draw and scribble with pens. There's a different feeling that you capture with a pen versus a pencil. Pens you can't erase. Once you lay it down, it's there. But if you have a pencil, you can erase, you can clean, you can, move something around. So I like to have a pencil similar to this, just a standard number 2 shape. I use 2B all the time because it's hard enough where I don't have to sharpen that often, but it's dark enough where I can get a nice dark shade and it doesn't smudge that often. So you can get really artsy with it. You can get nice sharp edges. You can get a fat edge with it. The only thing I would look out for are leads that are too soft. You can go 3B, 4B. The higher you go, the softer it's going to get and the more it's going to smudge because at some point an inker will grab that page and want to ink over it. And if it's too smudgy, then you're making it harder for your inker. So stick with something in a lower range. I have a technique that I use strictly for speed. I jump back and forth between red pencils and just my standard 2B pencils. So I'll use the red pencils to think. This is part of my thinking process. I keep it pretty light and it's just me thinking on the page. So I'm trying to think of where this character gonna live, what angle is the character, what's in the background. So I'll scribble all that down and I get a sense of what I'm gonna draw. Then I'll immediately grab the 2B pencil and just go straight in. And it's a cleaner process. That way I'm not erasing that often and there's no stray pencil marks because I'm doing all my stray marks with red. Plus, when we scan it in and we're prepping it for the color process, you can just completely eliminate the red. You won't even have to pick it up. When I'm drawing, I'm constantly switching between holding my pencil like this and holding my pencil like this. This is the process. I'm just literally doing this over and over and over. These two right here, okay? There are times when I'll pull back a little bit further because I want to get like a larger stroke or I want to get like a wider type of feel. So I'll pull back like this, hold the pencil back a little bit further just to get like a nice flow like that. Whatever it is, I'm trying to capture that flow, okay? And I'm constantly just moving and just having fun. And the key thing is that you want to give your pencil some energy. So the best thing you want to do is to throw it. Say I'm drawing a hand, you want to capture the energy for the hand first. Then you can go in and you tighten it up a little bit more and you tighten up a little bit more and you keep going until it gets a little bit tighter, a little bit tighter, a little bit tighter. And it's all based on this type of motion, okay? Try not to get too noodly or too hatchy and try not to get too loose. You don't want your pencils to be too loose. You want to have some form of motion where you're capturing a specific energy. And that's typically based on a motion going like this or like this. So you're going to go from top to bottom or from bottom to top. So that's typically what you want to do. The fundamentals of penciling, you want to understand and learn primitives, okay? So the primitives that you want to learn are your cylinders, your cubic or box type shapes, circular shapes, and you want to learn how to draw triangular shapes like that. These are the primitives that you're going to use over and over and over all throughout your art piece. Whatever you're drawing, from backgrounds to bunny rabbits to a human being holding up a shield, these elements are going to be bedrock. Now, applying these elements together creates a larger picture. So you can use all cubes, you can use all circular shapes, you can use all cylindrical shapes, or a conjunction of all of them at the same time. And you piece it together and you make a larger piece. So those are the elements that are the makeup of everything that you see, from your arms to a car driving on the street, because this is the construction of whatever you're trying to create in front of you. So once you capture this energy, like this hand that you're doing now, you can constantly go back and break it down even further with primitive shapes. So like here, I'm drawing this hand, but I'm thinking this cylindrical type of shape right here. I'm thinking another cylindrical type of shape right here for the thumb. I'm thinking the same thing here for this finger. But what I'm actually drawing is this part right here. I'm just drawing the contours of this. Now, all the messiness, you can go back and clean it up. It's not that big of an issue, but you can go back and you can lighten it up like this, where you can still see the basics of it, but now you're cleaning it up. It's a lot of back and forth. So it's erase, draw, erase, draw. The details of this will come in when you actually go and you start doing some shading. Then you can go and you can add more details in certain area. You can do some blocking out like this. You can start adding things like the fingernails. You can hatch from it if you wanted to. So it's a lot of like different processes going back and forth like this. So from what I've seen in the past, from a lot of students who is trying to draw or create something, is that they're trying to finish too fast. So they're thinking, I'm drawing a human head, and they want to draw the head, the eyeballs, and then the ears and nose and mouth. And then at the end of the day, the head's crooked, and then the eyes are crooked, and the nose is off. So all these different things start happening, and you're not seeing what's behind it. What's behind it are these fundamentals. So these primitives that you use to lay out different parts of the face will help you keep everything in track. Typically, my approach to drawing a head, the first thing I think about is that it's an oval shape. That's the first thing I think about. And then from the round shape, I am going to cut the head in half and then cut the head in half again, like that. Now I have the center of the head, and I know exactly where my eyes are going to land, somewhere here on this line. And then halfway through that, this is where the nose is going to land. And halfway through that, this is where the mouth is going to land, somewhere in this region right here. And I know from this edge right here, this is where the ear is going to land, somewhere in this region. So now this is my rough layout for the head. Some artists that I know go into the more box shape. I go more oval because we have a round head. That's basically it. We don't have a square robotic head. We have a round head, but the square shapes help you to lay out the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the chin, and the ears. That box shape does help to establish those angles. So if you think about a combination of both the box and the round shape, it'll help you understand and establish exactly where's this head looking. Is this guy looking in this direction? Or is the ear pointed this direction over here? Now you get a sense of where the neck is going to land. So now this is just the simple grid I use to help establish this. So if you take that, do a quick overlay on top of this. Basically, the back of the head, I know the back of the head is round, like this. You're building the back of the head with the brain, the skull, everything lands in this region. Then you have the lower part, which is going to have the jaw. Now, this is just a really rough sketch so you can establish the area that you're about to build the head from. Now I'm going to go into like the actual details. So from here, now I'm thinking, I know the nose is going to live somewhere in this region. So I want to create a simple shape. So this is where I'm going to do a combination of like a triangular type shape and a cubic shape. And I have the line here where I know the nose is going to land. So from here, there's a little dip in this area, and I know the eyes are going to be somewhere within this region right here. So I'm going to quickly scribble that. Now, I know that the mouth is going to be somewhere in this region, so I'm going to keep the mouth here. I'm going to break it down even further. So here I'm going to break down the rest of the head. So now I've established a really quick, simple grid that I know that the head is going to fit within this region. And it's all based off of a combination of round and square shapes, like that. And based on this, now I can go and start building even more parts of this. So now I'm thinking the cheeks have this type of shape to it. It almost looks like a macaroni type of shape, you know, something like that. And you can use the same thing for the lips. You can use the same thing for the bottom of the jaw. So you can think of the jaw like this. I'm just drawing a grid on top of it. That's what these lines are for. It's just basically a grid. Same thing for the lips. You could think of it like that. Now, I'm drawing this out because I want you to see what I'm thinking, and you're seeing the primitive layouts using this grid that I've applied here. Now, I'm not saying draw primitives for every single thing that you're drawing. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is you want to think about it. Think about these shapes that you're drawing. Think of it as a primitive. Think I'm drawing a cylindrical shape like this. So if you think that you're drawing it, then all you're basically doing is just really focusing on is the contours of it. So once you have the contours, you're going to light it and shade it using this primitive, because all primitives are shaded the exact same way. So once you have that, it makes it a lot easier to understand.
That was just one lesson from Marvel's The Art of Storytelling course. In the premium section of this lesson, Ryan shows you shading, texturing, more of his materials, and he pencils in a comic page. Check it out at proko.com/Marvel.